Hello and welcome to the cryptocurrency news channel. I'm going to talk about a certain article from Cointelegraph, or was it CoinDesk? I forget. I think it was Cointelegraph. Yeah, there's this one a former Gemini engineer. Gemini is the exchange, of course, that actually thinks Bitcoin ban in China is actually bullish. Now, obviously, immediately it's not bullish. But he thinks overall it's bullish. Now, I'm not really sure about that because China is a really big market, and we could use that investment money to pump us up. On the other hand, it does get the centralization of hash rate away from China. Now, however, I have to say, I think a lot of these mining companies are still headquartered in China. They're just moving the miners anywhere else, and maybe the pools will still be in China. We'll actually have to see. Maybe they'll just completely move out of China, and that would be best. But I'm not really sure what's going on there. But he thinks it's actually very bullish in China because it'll get the West to kind of like take a stance on Bitcoin because he actually sees like freedom things like Bitcoin along with stuff like YouTube, Google, Twitter, social media as like symbols of freedom. Now, I know you guys will have a lot to argue with that, but China did ban all these social media platforms and instituted state approved social media platforms. Now, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff, like they're not really state approved. They'll go against the state at certain times, basically based on whatever the hell's popular. Essentially, he actually sees this as a rite of passage for these things. Whereas, like the authoritarian regime, like China, bans them, so the West, which symbolizes freedom, has to embrace them. Now, I'm not really sure about that, but I do actually think he does have some kind of reasoning there, if you actually think about it. Because China banning it, which means the US might actually take a more likening to it, obviously because the US and China are rivals. Donald Trump, well, I mean, he's not really all that relevant anymore. But the thing is, like, he might actually change his mind about it too now that he sees that China has actually banned it because, he's very anti-China. So, like, if China's anti something, that thing must be good. I mean, I guess the logic sort of works like that. But the thing is, like, if a lot of the hash rate is coming to the US and if it is coming to Texas and the US does have some control over it, they should actually look at it as an opportunity and not screw it up by welcoming Bitcoin. And I think like the politicians in those states will have a lot of influence, especially in like Wyoming, like Texas, to actually move kind of like legislation in Bitcoin's favor as more and more cryptocurrency jobs filter into the US and as US becomes more and more dominant in cryptocurrency mining and like cryptocurrency companies. Because even like with the regulations, a lot of these companies are actually operable in the US. And if US can see like using Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies centralized in the US for world economic dominance, I think they'll turn a page on it. So getting banned in China might actually rev up the speed up the process that it actually gets adopted in the US and the West. Now the US is going to be the last hurdle because the EU is a lot more friendly to crypto than the US is. So this engineer actually thinks getting banned by China is a rite of passage. And because it's a rite of passage, it's actually overall bullish for Bitcoin. I don't know if I agree with him, but I can kind of see his lines of reasoning as I just explained. So that's kind of my take on it. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.